Good morning, everyone. And today we're going to speak about exploring citizenship and government, which is under theme 1. And the focus for this video will be on 2.3, and that will be on ideas shaping governance. This is actually found in the previous syllabus as well. And if you look at the picture, that is Singapore's Prime Minister at the moment, and his name is Mr. Lee Hsien Loong. So, under the issue exploring citizenship and governance, we are being part of Singapore society, and we need to focus on chapter 2. How do we decide what is good for the society? And under chapter 2, there are actually 3 parts. So we are focusing on the part 3, ideas shaping governance. And under ideas shaping governance, there are actually 4 sections: having good leadership, anticipating change and staying relevant, practicing meritocracy, providing a stake for everyone. And we're going to focus on the first one. What qualities do you think a good leader ought to have? And this is something that quite a number of their opinions, and let's take a look. Our leaders must be honest. Okay, our leaders need to be honest. We don't tell lies. They need to be competent or capable, and they have the moral courage to do what is right, what is popular, and make decisions for the good of the country. This may not be popular. It means that some people need to actually pay more money. Some people may suffer at the end, but it's for the good of society and not for personal interest. In this picture, you can see that, well, corruption can sometimes ruin good leaders. So let's take a corruption perception index. In this case, it's not about whether they have corruption or not. It's whether the people perceive based on their public sector corruption. Perceive. So in this case, you can see that India is actually at number 38, which is quite low. And if you are cleaner, the higher the score, the better it is. And Singapore is at number 8, 85. It doesn't mean that it's not corrupted. It just means that people perceive it to be less corrupted. And let's take a look. So, in this case, they actually appointed a salary of the PM, which is previously from 3 million dropped to 2.2 million. If you take a look, it's actually quite a high amount. The president earns about $1.5 million, even though, it has been reduced by 50%. So, the higher the pay is supposed to deter people from being corrupted. That's the rationale. Let's go to the next one. Anticipating change and staying relevant. What is to anticipate changes and staying relevant? Anticipating changes and staying relevant is to try and solve potential problems in Singapore or for Singapore before they occur. And there are quite a number of issues. We take a look at the case study number 1. The first one, new water. This very pertinent problem which is called water. If you live in Singapore, you can actually turn on the tap and get water coming out. This is not actually a permanent solution because Singapore is still buying water from Malaysia. So Singapore has to think of innovative, creative way and perhaps more sophisticated ways to get more water. And one of the ways is called new water, which is also known as recycled water. Singapore has 2 agreements with 1961 and 1962. There are 2 agreements. Started from then. Singapore purchased up to 1.55 million cubic meters of water at 3 cents per 1,000 gallons. And they sell the treated back to the Johor government at 50 cents. So they buy at 3 cents as a cost price, they sell at 50 cents, earning about 47 cents. But the money is used to buy more water, I guess. But these agreements ended in 2011, which have ended because now it's 2017 and beyond. And we have the other one, which is in 2061. And after that, means that we're going to negotiate. In 2002, negotiation for renewal of water agreement with Malaysia, and Malaysia had raised the price to 60 cents. But Singapore counteroffer with 45 cents. That's quite a view because prices have increased. But no agreement is made, and both contracts is to be run out naturally and not to be renewed. And in this case, you can see that if Singapore doesn't get water, certain percentage of water will be gone, which we used to become from Malaysia. So Singapore has devised these 4 national tabs. Water from local catchment, you have imported water, you have new water, and you have desalinated water. Water catchment area is from those reservoir rainwater. Mainly imported water is from Malaysia at the moment until 2061. And new water is from recycled water that have been used before. They will clean it and they'll make sure it is potable. And last but not least, you have desalinated water, which is to reclaim salty seawater and make sure that it's actually drinkable. So, where does our water come from? If you look at the present situation now, based on statistics from Straits Times, you now new water make up of 30%, desalinated of 10%, and the rest come from reservoir imported water. By 2060, 1 year before the contract run out, we should have 50% from new water, means recycling water we have, and desalinated water up to 30% coming from the sea, and last but not least, we have the rest from reservoir imported water. So from 60% you will go to 90% of land area by 2060. So water catchment area doesn't necessarily refer to reservoir per se. It could actually be water tanks at the top of the building which should collect rainwater, and that could be a water catchment area as well. So case study number 2. Integrated resorts. So what competition do Singapore face? So we face a number of competition. For example, Japan, Tokyo, you have Disneyland, Universal Studios, and Seasons. While Hong Kong, Macau has Disneyland plus casino. You have Indonesia, Bali, Bintan, Batam, which is attract tourists there. You have Malaysia, you have Genting Highland and many beach resorts, and they are undergoing renovation. Australia, you have a Gold Coast casino with Seasons, and Thailand, you have various islands and beach resort. It's like weekend getaway perhaps. And mainland Southeast Asia, we have Vietnam, Cambodia, targeting the tourists which are going into Southeast Asia. So if you look at tourism that is arriving in Singapore, percentage change, you can see that over the years, there have been an increase in the number, there have been percentage, but all of it is actually a positive change. So, in no way that tourists is actually reducing. In fact, they are actually arriving in droves. So, is it worth it to invest in it? Personally, I think that it's totally worth it. But, we need to consider from the Singapore point of view. So, let's take a look. We have 2 integrated resorts. We have Marina Bay Sands. We have Resort World Sentosa. One will be at Marina area. One will be at Sentosa, which is an offshore island. So, how many jobs does it provide? You have 10,000 directly, 20,000 directly. How many jobs? There are 45,000. How many jobs man the local? 30%, 30%. How much does it earn? You have 450 millions per quarter. You have 665 millions per quarter. Quarter is about 3 months. And is money the only consideration? We are talking about gambling casinos, which can bring about quite a number of social ills. So, you have to consider that for every measure that they took, they actually bring jobs to Singapore, and on the contrary, they also bring about many social ills such as gambling, where many locals, they find a very close place where they can legally gamble. For Singaporeans, they actually have to pay 100 Sing dollars just to enter. This is act as a deterrence. So, practicing meritocracy. So what is meritocracy? Meritocracy is those who work the hardest or are the best or the most talented get the most rewards. Simple as that. So let's take a look. If you take, we have actually come up with EduSave scholarships for Singapore schools if you study hard. And for secondary school pupils in government or government aided schools, they basically become the top 10% of their level and stream based on their overall school examination for the year. They are eligible for it, so they get a sum of money. So the value of the award is actually $500. And besides that, you have EduSave Merit Bursary. Those who are not recipient of the EduSave scholarship, which is the top 10%, they have the Merit Bursary. It means that if they do work hard from the following institution, they are able to get actually a sum of money. In this case, they have to be a top 25%. So not the top 10%, but the top 25% of each level and stream their school. Besides that, they have other requirements such as not exceeding 5,000 monthly gross household income, or per capita household income does not exceed $1,250. So the value of the bursary is actually $350 for secondary 1 to 5, and there will be you who are studying now. So Grow and Share Package is a scheme to share government revenue surplus with Singaporeans, and they give them shares to make them more invested in Singapore, which they can actually sell off and trade for money. But in this case, if you do keep it, they'll give you revenue. So is meritocracy really fair? There are quite a number of arguments. Let's take a look at this cartoon. In this cartoon, you can see that there's a man giving a test for first selection. Everyone has to take the same test. Please climb that tree. So if you examine carefully, not every one of them is actually suited to take a tree. This applies to humans as well. Not everyone of us is suitable to be very good at studies. There are some who excel, who thrives in this kind of examinations. But there are those who are the artists, who perhaps next time they will become very famous tattoo artists. They may do well, but their strength wouldn't be that. So for a monkey, that would be a very easy one. For a bird, you can fly out a tree, but that wouldn't technically be climbing per se. Elephant, I don't think elephant can climb, it's too heavy. As you can see that it's really, really very hard. So criticism of actually meritocracy. So last but not least, providing a stake for everyone. Providing a stake for everyone means that everyone will be involved in Singapore, to let Singaporeans have a say and the decision making of their country. Because when you have a say, when you are invested in the country, you will feel a sense of belonging to the country. So what is feedback? So it's the duty of every citizen in a democracy to be informed about local issue. Means that you have to know, and if you are listening now, you are being informed about Singapore system, and to give feedback to the government about them. Some of them are actually pretty much involved in our politics and local issues, and it is a job of you to be involved and give feedback to the government, because the government doesn't know if you don't. So they actually came up with this called REACH.
HDB flats, they are everywhere. Understandably, they are also on the minds of many. Some of these views have been communicated to the government through its feedback portal, REACH. In June, just 1 month after the general election, REACH had more than 400 such input. Netizens asked if the flats are really affordable, or how much will be available. Many wish they are cheaper, or that they don't have to wait too long. They were also shocked that the top-tier 5-room flats in Central 8 in Tampines cost so much, and questioned the fundamentals of the design, build and sell scheme. But they were heartened by Minister Corwin-Wan's pledges to increase supply with more launches of build-to-order flats and consider reviewing the income ceiling eligibility criteria. Another hot topic is the flash floods in June, with over 260 feedback input. Netizens were frustrated that they have happened again and want the government to get to the root cause quickly. A third key issue is the presidential election, such as the role of the president, with over 230 feedback input. Concerns that it would cost more to use public transport surfaced recently after the two transport operators applied to adjust fares. Having heard from netizens, REACH will work to keep government agencies in the loop and send early alerts on the issues that deserve quick attention.
So you can see REACH has received quite a number of feedback on a number of issues. The video was quite a while ago, so that's why we talk about the presidential election, and very soon there will be another one. And in this case, you can see that there's a number of issues that surrounding Singaporeans, such as housing issue, you have transport issue, and this concerns the average Singaporean. So does the government really listen to our feedback? Let's talk about integrated resource, which I spoke about just now. In 2004, the government asked for feedback before they decided to build the two IRs. They asked the Singaporeans, they asked them, please give me feedback. I would like to know regarding the integrated resort, which involve casinos. So what did Singaporeans say, and what did the government say? Singaporeans said that they are actually concerned that there will be a lot of social ills, people will be gambling addicts, and so in that case, the government says, Singapore entry levy, we will introduce a levy for every 24 hours that you enter, you pay $100, and if you like to buy a yearly pass, you pay $2,000. This is just what you have to pay, and doesn't consist of any other cheating. So you just enter, you need to pay. This will be your levy. And we created this council, which is called the National Council on Problem Gambling, to deal with them. It's called NCPG, and it is to ensure that people who are gamblers or addicted to gambling will be able to find a place where they can receive counseling and be able to get out of addiction. So, does listening to the feedback means that the government needs to act on them? What do you think? Actually, the answer is no. But they do something from time to time, do act on them. Maybe at a later stage. So the government must have the integrity and the moral courage to do what is right, not what is popular. Of course, a lot of people going to complain that casino will bring about social ills, which is true, but that will be considered popular, because doing what is right, it will bring about jobs, and in turn, you bring about money into the Singapore economy, and that will affect quite a number of other jobs as well. So what is right may not be actually popular. There'll be a number of issues that are public facing, for example, COE. The prices as of now has risen to more than 100,000. ARP, which is the road surcharge, and recently has gone, satellite based. So you will not have this gantry anymore. You will just be charged based on which road you are. And then last but not least, you have schemes such as the Graduate Mother Scheme, where you are giving extra money to, graduate mother to have babies. Just in case you don't know, it actually received quite a backlash, and after 1 year, it was cancelled. So, we come to the end of chapter 2, part 3, which is on ideas shaping governance. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you for your time, and I will see you very soon.